Hello and welcome to another video, and honestly this was not the video I was planning on making right now. I actually have a completely different one in the pipe here, but I had to get this video done and put it out because I think a really important announcement was made today, and I think it's something that's really going to have a ripple effect in the industry, and that is Valve's announcement of the Steam Deck. If you don't know what the Steam Deck is, it was announced today that Valve is putting out their handheld system, which is compatible with your full Steam library, which is ridiculous. Now, I will sit here and say the biggest thing about Valve going into this is they've done hardware before and they've always fallen on their face. Look at things like the awful Steam controller and the Steam Link. They don't have a good track record with hardware, and so that's why I'm reserved on this. Honestly, this is a potential Nintendo Switch killer. It really is, because this thing is compatible with your full Steam library. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I own almost 700 games on Steam. And I don't play them that much because I don't like to sit in front of a computer that much. You know, when you have a job 8 hours a day that has you tied to a desk sitting in front of a computer, I don't want to sit there to play games too. I'd rather sit on my couch or in my recliner and play a game that way with a big screen TV than with a computer, you know. And that's not everybody, but that's just me personally. Let's just talk a little bit about the Steam Deck and the specs and how this thing potentially could be a real challenger for the Nintendo Switch. So one thing that's important to note is this thing is like 2 to 3 times more powerful than the current Switch model. And with that being said, this thing has 16 gigabytes of memory on board, which compared to the Switches, which I believe is 8 gigabytes. Actually, I think the Switch has 4 gigabytes but of onboard memory. It could be 8. I can't remember. I want to say it's 8 and then 4 of them are reserved, but I could be wrong. You can comment. You can let me know in the comments below, but I believe that's the case. This thing already is about double the power of the Switch. The other important thing is there are 3 models, and I think this is where the big discrepancy is going to come. So the price point is probably the biggest hinderer of this technology, and that is it is $400 for the entry model. So what's the entry model? The entry model has 64 gigabytes of storage. Now, all 3 models of this system do allow you to attach a micro SD card. However, the bigger models, the one that has 256 gigabytes of memory and one that has 512 gigabytes of storage, I should say they're both storage, not memory, those are significantly more expensive because they are NVMe drives, which is always going to up the price. The prices of those respectively are $529 and $649. I don't think anybody's going out there and spending that much money for a portable PC like this. But that's what this thing is. It's a portable PC. And I think there are some design limitations with this thing in terms of how it looks. If you look over the actual unit itself, you look at how it's designed, I don't like the thumbstick placement being parallel to each other. I do like the offset that the Switch has. That's kind of the Xbox standard. I also think the D-pad placement is ridiculously bad. But that being said, they have these 2 touchpads on there, kind of bringing back the Steam controller vibes with that. But the biggest thing about this is that it's completely portable. It's compatible with literally any Bluetooth controller. So if you're a PlayStation person, if you're an Xbox person, those controllers are going to work just fine. It's also going to have a USB-C dock that can hook up to a TV and output up to 8K resolution. The thing about the battery life with this is, from what I can understand, it has a 40 watt-hour battery. What that means is that if you are playing a game at 60 frames, it can run about 4 hours of playtime. If you're playing a lower frame rate, it's going to be about 5 to 6 hours. That's a little bit better than the Nintendo Switch, so can't really give them too much crap about that. But I mean, let's talk about the biggest thing here. Your Steam library at your fingertips, portably, is really potentially awesome. You know, we've seen Steam try to do remote play and that kind of stuff. It's never really worked. I think this right here is a great idea for Valve to get into the market, and I think tying this into someone's existing Steam library is potentially awesome. Look, I have countless games on Steam, RPGs that I would love to sit and play that I just don't feel like sitting in front of a computer. A handheld machine is incredibly tantalizing for me. the price point is probably the biggest thing where this falls. I mean, this is $100 more than the standard Switch, or $50 more than the OLED Switch that's coming out this fall. And while it is twice as powerful, and while it does link to your existing Steam library, which again, thousands upon thousands of games playable, the thing that's always going to hinder it is the price. So, and Valve doesn't necessarily have the best track record with products like this. And I think I would put their track record with hardware about the same as Google. So, like, that's the biggest disappointment here is that part of it, because I look at it and go, man, this thing's awesome. You know, $400 seems a little steep, but to have all these games at my fingertip, to be able to just slap it on a dock and play it on my TV with an Xbox controller, really awesome. Like, the Steam ecosystem is awesome, and the ability to have it on the go, even more awesome. But I just don't know, and that's the thing. I look at this and go, potentially, yes, this is a Switch killer. I mean, this kind of really just brings to light. It's going to play games better than the Switch, which is what I was bitching about in my Nintendo Switch OLED video from, last week. And so this thing's really gonna it has a massive potential to be extremely successful, but they have to really make a good argument for people to buy one. And I don't know if that exists. It's cool. Could it potentially be a shakeup in the industry that Valve has wanted for years? Absolutely. Will it? Time will tell. They're saying the release date of this is sometime in December. If I'm being honest, it's going to get pushed till 2022, because everything right now is getting pushed till 2022. But it's a 7-inch screen. Let me go over some of the other specs. It's a 7-inch screen. It runs at a 1280 by 800 resolution for the screen. That doesn't mean that internal games are going to run at that resolution. That's just the resolution of the screen. If I were to guess, it probably can run games at 1080-60 in handheld mode, and I would assume, obviously, the dock can push it up. I think this thing's awesome. I actually am really excited about it in a way that I didn't think I was going to be excited about it. They rumored it a couple weeks ago. I looked at it and said, yeah, I don't know, maybe. And now having the power for this thing, I think it could really be the kick in the nuts that Nintendo needs to either make a Switch Pro, or this could, competition's only good for the market. And that's the biggest thing I'm trying to say here is competition's only good in the market for video games. I mean, that's why I like that there's a rivalry between Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. And I think Valve getting the hardware game again, this is the most exciting piece of hardware I think they've ever made. I think it looks awesome. I think that there's a great possibility here that this thing could actually take off if people give it the time of the day. And that's a big if. It's a big ask. $400 is a lot of money. I mean, for $100 more, you can buy a PS5 or a Series X. So it's a lot of money for a handheld. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But I think that it could potentially really light the market up. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if, what retailers sell this thing, if it's just through Valve, or if you can go out to a GameStop or Target, Best Buy, Walmart, and purchase one of these things. I don't know, because part of it, you have to look at it this way. For a retailer to stock this thing, there's no physical hardware to sell other than the unit itself. There's no controllers, there's no games, everything's digital. So, I don't know. It's potentially interesting. I'd love to know in the comments below, are you interested in this unit? Does it appeal to you? Let me know. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and until next time.